Welcome back, Patriots, for another episode of the Ball Brad Show. It is officially Wednesday, December 11th, and Joe Biden is still, by far, not even close, the worst president in American history. Folks, this guy hits a golf ball backwards, falls up a flight of stairs multiple times, looks for dead people in the crowd, converses with dead people to the point where he's not just speaking to them. He's not just hearing them. He's having full-fledged conversations with people that have been passed away for 40 years. Joe Biden just unfroze, took people off lists, and we're going to find out who today that he's doing all this with, giving your cold, hard cash, the money that you worked for, to specific somebody that we were told that he wasn't going to do and didn't do, but he did do. We're going to break everything down for you, folks. If you could support us by hitting that like button, it's absolutely free. It's just one click, whether you're on your phone, your television, iPad, heck, I don't know where you're at. Hit that like button, both at Rumble and YouTube. It greatly supports us. Also, check us out on Twitter, or also known as Elon's X. We are on there as well, and TikTok, folks. Check us out on all platforms. Would love for you to join the community as well. It's good to see you, Patriots, in the live chat. I see all of you in there over at Rumble, YouTube, X, heck, everywhere. Well, let's get right into the news. No messing around here. Joe Biden reportedly waived sanctions following the Democrats' election losses last month that gave the Islamic Republic of Iran, mind you, the world's leading sponsor of terrorism, access to billions of dollars of frozen assets. Now, if you recall, I'm going to take you back to, back in time a little bit here with John Kirby, Karine Jean-Pierre, Joe Biden. Joe Biden took money from South Korea, I believe it was, upwards of $10 billion in humanitarian aid, and wanted to give it to the Iranian people. And they were calling it humanitarian aid. And the conversation was with John Kirby on the podium during the White House press briefing going, hey, why are you going to give the Iranians $10 billion when they're the leading sponsor of terrorism? Couldn't they just now spend $10 billion on terrorism because you just shored up a bunch of funds for them that they would have maybe spent somewhere else? And John Kirby goes, I'm not even kidding. He goes, no. They're actually not spending money on their people at all. And so that's why they need it. And they're not going to have extra money to sit there and spend on terrorism. And I kid you not, there was people just kind of looking around in the White House press brief room going, what are you talking about? If you even have any money budgeted to some sort of category, it doesn't matter what it is, and that you now have that money shored up or free because somebody else is giving you a bunch of other money for whatever purposes, doesn't matter what it is, well, couldn't you now fund whatever thing it is that you want to fund and that you're most, love to do? I guess we'll keep it as that. It's insane. So it's fungible money. So what they did was they froze it and they moved it. They moved it from South Korea to Qatar. And their reasoning, well, because we wanted to make it more accessible. Let that one sink in. So now they've been saying it's frozen, and you had Jake Sullivan, who's also part of the Biden administration, then come out during the White House press briefing many months ago and go, oh, no, they haven't touched a penny of it. And I've always been great, but can we get the money back then? Like if it's frozen and they're not going to have access to touch it. I say this, I know I'm kicking a dead horse here. Can we give it to our veterans? Can we give it to people sleeping on the streets? Can we maybe build facilities, shelters where these people that clearly have, unfortunately, mental problems, that they can go seek help, maybe things like that. So the Free Beacon obtained a copy here, I can't believe it, of the non-public order transmitted to Congress from the State Department that claimed it was in the national security interest of the United States to allow Iran to access $110 billion that had been frozen. Let's read it. The Biden State Department tweaked the waiver last year to allow Tehran to convert the funds from Iraqi, there you go, dineros to euros, then hold these euros in bank accounts based in Oman. Access to a widely traded currency like the euro enables Iran to more easily spend the cash in international markets. Because we were told by John Kirby that the United States was going to sit there and handle the vendors. So let's say I want to give you money and I'm going to control how that money is going to be spent. You would have to come to me and say, Brad, I want to go ahead and spend $100 on office supplies. Perfect. I'm going to pick who you're going to buy office supplies from. I'm going to pick Staples. That's how it's supposed to work, allegedly, according to John Kirby. That's not what it sounds like here, folks. No. Under the first Trump administration, Iran had to keep the cash in an escrow account in Baghdad, making it more difficult to access, meaning that they couldn't just willy-nilly do whatever they want. Now, could the Biden administration had still done what the Trump administration did? Yes. But look, I'll be fair. I wasn't exactly stoked that Donald Trump did this either. I'm tired of giving other countries all our money when we're $36 trillion in debt. I don't get that. Like, just imagine put yourself in that scenario where you don't have any money. You're putting everything on credit, which is what we're doing as a nation. And you're just driving yourself deeper in debt. And then there's some dude down the street that's asking you for money, but they keep sitting there, talking crap, vandalizing your car, vandalizing other people's car around the neighborhood and other neighborhoods. And they're asking you for money. Would you be willing to give them money when you don't have it and they're pulling all that crap? The reason why I mentioned an analogy of, destroying vehicles is because the Iranians are blowing up our merchant vessels and sinking them to the bottom of the ocean. We've seen, Patriots, at least 4 videos of this. I think there's something going on here, obviously more nefarious. It's not, this whole national security interest, it's in our best interest, really. Why? What are the Iranians going to do? We wiped out the Iraqis in 2 weeks in the Gulf War. I want to put this in perspective. Back then, during the Gulf War, Iraq had the 3rd largest military in the world. I don't think the Iranians are going to do much. Now, they could, but we got a pretty big force here. I think what's happening, and I've always said this, I think Biden is so corrupt that he has money everywhere stashed away. And I think the Chinese, the Ukrainians, and the Iranians know all about it. And I think they have so much dirt on this guy that he's basically a puppet for all these people that don't like us. Because I can't think, can anybody here, there's hundreds of people watching, can anybody tell me in the comment section or the live chat, on a hand of God, a rational, a real reason why you would give $10 billion to a government, granted it's going to the people, but to a people that has a government that's a leading sponsor of terrorism? Because I can't think of a actual good one. However, money is fungible. Thank you. Meaning it can be easily moved around, hidden, and used for different purposes. Hey, what could maybe some of those different purposes be, Patriots? Could it maybe be for terrorism? Many have raised concerns about the administration waiving sanctions against the regime after it's funded the majority of terrorism in the Middle East for years. So by Joe doing this, by basically proxy, he is funding terrorism. That's what Joe is doing. And I've said it time and time again. It's astonishing what this guy has done in the criminal network on the globe, on the planet. Joe has created the most jobs, you guys, more than Trump. It's just creating criminal type of jobs. What I mean by that is sex trafficking, human trafficking, drug trafficking, illegal immigrants, smuggling, those types of things, terrorism. This guy's done more for terrorism than anybody I could think of in recent memory. This guy's sitting there allowing the Iranians to do whatever they want. That money's being funneled all over the place. We all know it. Somebody, I forgot the congressman or congresswoman who said it. There was somebody that mentioned this. And the industrial war complex, however you want to phrase it, is just sending our money all whichever direction. And it's all being laundered. All that money that's being sent to Ukraine is just being laundered. I've told you guys, they're driving nice cars over there. You guys please don't think like Ukraine is a war-torn country They're going clubbing. They're going out at night. You're funding their education. You're funding their defense. You're doing all of you are paying for this. I just want to make this clear here because I don't think some people are really realizing this, that you're paying for illegal immigrants. You're paying for other nations' defense systems across the globe. You're paying for a lot of the Ukraine war. You're paying now for terrorism. I mean, what the hell is going on? I sound like Jerry Seinfeld. What's happening? It's unbelievable. I can't believe it. So Iran's president, who died in May, said in an interview last year that Iran would spend the money however it wanted to. And I remember quoting that because then John Kirby and Jake Sullivan were both asked the question, well, then why did he say that? And they didn't really have a good reason, right? They just kind of pulled something out of their you-know-what. What is your expectation of its money use? Asked NBC News. We're told that it was for humanitarian purposes. That's what we were all told, like food and medicine, right? Which is what the government, their own government should be helping them do, not necessarily us. Do you believe you have the right to use that money in any way that you see fit? This money belongs to the Islamic Republic of Iran, and naturally, we decide, the Iranians said, we'll decide to spend it wherever we need it. How to spend our money, of course, it is under the authority of the Islamic Republic of Iran. You gotta love how it's our money now. No, it's not. It's not. So he said here's the exact moment he said it. It says they'll use the $6 billion from the Biden administration wherever we need it, as determined by the Iranian government, which contradicts what Joey said. So the money is unfrozen, you guys. So after that whole long year and all those White House press briefings, not one, not two, not five, multiple, well, now it's unfrozen after being told for a year that it was frozen. They couldn't touch it. And then they just secretly unfreeze it. You got to love that, right? No announcement about it. No. Just sat there under the rug. Typical administration. I always like to call this out. Remember, at the beginning of the Biden administration, they came out and said that they were going to be the most transparent administration that's ever existed in the history of this country. As far as I'm concerned, from what I can see in at least the last 3.5, 4 years, they have been far from that. I mean, the amount of lies that have come out of just Karine Jean-Pierre alone, that doesn't even include their predecessor, Jen Psaki, the former White House press secretary that's now with MSNBC, or DNC rather. They're not transparent whatsoever. Speaking of terrorism, you're going to really love this one. Biden looking to remove Al-Qaeda linked group from terror list, remove 10 million bounty off leader. So here we go. Just another service to the terrorists. Just lovely stuff here. Joe Biden is reportedly looking to remove one of the Islamic terrorist groups that overthrew the Syrian government last week from the U.S. Foreign Terrorist Organization. Now, this was a conversation that we had, correct? Where we said, are these people going to do terrible things to civilians and handle the country in a very corrupt way, kind of like what we see with Ukraine, Iran, these other nations? Or are they going to sit there and they want to play ball a little bit and actually be considered a country that's taken seriously in terms of having a strong economy and producing and doing something that's good? Remember, this group that took over Syria worked with Al-Qaeda back in the day, and they kind of branched off. And nobody really knew why. There was a couple rumors out there that they said, well, they're still linked to them, but the image and the optics of being linked with Al-Qaeda wasn't really a good one. They wanted to find their own path and kind of start their own group that's still extremist. And I think Biden might be considering doing this so that when they do form a government, maybe there's a little bit more of a hand to be played in terms of working with this new extremist group. So multiple and current former Biden administration officials told NBC News that Biden was looking to help the terrorist group soon. It's just unbelievable. By removing the designation, which would allow the group a way to get help from foreign governments. So it's just bending over backwards for terrorists. That's just over and over and over again. Biden would also remove the 10 million bounty off the head of the terrorist group's leader. Well, why do you have a $10 million bounty? That's weird. Why? You don't just kind of throw those out too often, right? I mean, I think the guy that literally shot the CEO of United Health in the back, I think he only had like a $50,000 reward if somebody could find him or something like that. This is $10 million. So what kind of crazy stuff do you have to do to get that type of money on your head? Former CENTCOM commander, retired General Frank McKenzie, said during an interview over the weekend that the dude has a significant track record of terrorism, and the notion that terrorists can change was ridiculous. Well, Joe thinks that's the case. I mean, Joe still thinks Hunter can change. Hunter was freaking cracked out of his mind the other week with Jill looking at him. I don't know if you guys saw that. I mean, it's old video, but he's sitting there like, sir, look, I'm a believer people could change. You got to give people opportunities, not terrorists, and not with a $10 million bounty on their head. Certainly, he could advance new ideas coming in, he said. It's been my experience, though, that typically they don't. Correct. Like I said, I would love for the Syrians to have a country that works. I would love for that whole region to get their crap together and start functioning. And it's really terrible if you look back in history of the Middle East and seeing how it's been transformed and changed and not for the better. It's actually really sad. If you look at Iraq and those places, I mean, the amount of intelligence and wisdom that came out of that area is truthfully head spinning. I mean, if you look at a lot of the mathematics, I mean, you're talking a long time ago. All that stuff came out of the Middle East. Your algebra came out of the Middle East, all that stuff. A lot of wisdom there. There's a lot of potential. You just got to tap into it. And look, that potential will be for the betterment of mankind. It's all about us working together in unison as the world. But we're tired of funding terrorism and people beheading people lighting people on fire at the stake, burning babies in a fire, making the mom eat it, and then raping her and all this stuff, which really happens. But Joe loves funding it. Ted Cruz is out saying that the rebels who overtook Syria are from ISIS and Al Qaeda. Correct. And that was one of the other reasons I wanted to post this here, is that one of the main fears is that since Joe Biden was so lax on basically everything, and he just allowed everybody to do anything they wanted and he was funding it, well, there is a conversation to be had that ISIS could sit here and step up to the plate and, make a comeback and actually have real negotiating power in Syria, or hell, even fight to take over some sort of control of the Syrian government. So now you have two different branches of terrorism taking over the Syrian government, and Joe Biden wants to sit there and play ball with them. And I'm not saying you shouldn't. That's not what I'm saying. But for you to sit there and remove all this stuff, I don't know if that's you're losing all your cards at that point. Where the big boys, okay? If they want to sit there and play with the foreign governments across the globe, well, there's other ways of doing it. So Senator Ted Cruz warned this week that those who are cheering on the downfall of the Syrian government and the dictator should realize that those who conquered might be even worse than he was. And that dude was bad, right? Assad was bad. Remember, that guy sat there and used chemical weapons against his own people and slaughtered thousands of them. And that's just what we know about. Remember, Saddam Hussein did the same thing, and there was allegedly a lot more crimes against humanity, roughshotting over his people that we didn't know about, that didn't come out until many years later, just from local tribes, just trying to get the word out to people who ever crossed through that area. His falling is a major loss for Russia. It's a major loss for Iran. It's a major loss for Hezbollah. All were allies. So we're going to see. I mean, Russia kind of was spread too thin. At least that's the thought behind it. And that thought comes from Donald Trump himself, that Russia was supposed to sit there and actually manage and handle Syria in an appropriate way. But now, because they got involved in Ukraine, they had to sit there and kind of put all the resources in one direction, because they thought they would just, kind of wipe over and just completely just take over Ukraine very easily. And that hasn't really been happening. Now, why does Russia have any sort of involvement in Syria? Like, who do we blame for giving the Russians any sort of power in Syria? If you recall, last week we talked a little bit about that, and that would have been Barack Obama. Barack Obama gave the Russians power. They gave the Russians a card to play in the game. And why did he do that? Well, because you had the Afghanistan debacle, you had the Iraq debacle. Americans, through polls, were tired of going to war, bombing everybody. We didn't have money. We're going into debt. All these things were taking place. And you had Assad that, like I said, used chemical weapons against his own people. And so rather than going to war, bombing them, which honestly we had already been doing that under the Obama administration, doing all those things, Obama, rather than allowing us to sit there and handle it, meaning the United States, he sat there and gave the power to the Russians. And he said, well, the Russians are friendly with the Assad family and the Syrians. So because he's friendly with them, and remember, Russia can't exactly be, trustworthy. we're going to let them handle the chemical weapons and everything pretty much to do with Syria. And we're just going to kind of sit back as a third party and watch and make sure everything is going accordingly. When I say that the Democrats are going to sit back and watch and make sure that everything is done accordingly, is me saying they're not going to do anything and that they're going to turn a blind eye and not deal with it. That's why the Russians now, and you're seeing something that played out from the Obama administration come in full fruition, full end conclusion here, the climax now of what's going on here. And this is why we were the world police for a while, micromanaging everything, because stuff like this can happen. And it's interesting and fascinating because it's almost like that show, The Game of Thrones, or those kind of political shows where politics is all about 4D chess. It's all about the movement and placements. And those movement and placements can have short-term effects and they can have long-term effects. This one was long-term. And it was bound to happen at some point because the Russians would not put pressure on the Syrians, specifically Assad, to sit there and get his crap together. He sat there and destroyed that country, or at least one of the people that did. So that's what's going on there. And Cruz noted that the world is a dangerous place and there are evil dictators who lead countries. But that does not mean toppling those regimes will lead to a better outcome. And he's not wrong here, but we will have to see what happens now. And guess who has to deal with it? Donald Trump has to deal with this and clean up another mess. So it almost seems like Joe Biden's goal is to sabotage everybody here. Whether it's Kamala Harris, which I'm all for sabotaging her and her campaign. Hell, it got us into the White House, partially. And then also it's just like, hey, let's send hundreds of billions of dollars more money, by the way. I don't know if you guys saw, we're sending like $700-800 billion to Ukraine again. More of your money. That just came out. I think that was at the end of last week or whatever. So more money's going to the Ukrainians, which is just being laundered. All those weapons and stuff are just being sold off into the black market, just a heads up. Sitting there and funding terrorism. That's all taking place. And he's still dealing with illegal immigration that he's just allowing to happen. So Biden DHS announces work permit extensions for migrants, even as majority of jobs go to migrants. I'm telling you, January 20th, you guys can't come soon enough. I got goosebumps talking about it just now. I'm dead serious. Whenever I think about Donald Trump, January 20th, it's better than New Year's right now. It's going to be better than Christmas. That is going to be, January 20th is going to be election night on steroids for me. When he won, man, I was getting teary-eyed. Some of you called me out like, oh, looks like Brad's gonna cry, you big baby. Hell yeah, man. I wanted Donald Trump to win so bad, and he did. Because we need to clean up this stuff here, guys. We can't keep doing this, and that's why we need Donald Trump to win, or Donald Trump to fix all these problems after he won. Because, look, I don't know how much longer we have as a country. And if we don't get a great reset here, if Trump doesn't do everything he's going to do, like to the extent that he says he's going to do it, we're in some major trouble here as a nation. I said earlier this year that even if Donald Trump won, it's only delaying the inevitable of this country collapsing at some point in the future. We're the only country that's existed this long to have this type of republic. We are an extreme outlier in terms of history of humanity. So the longer that goes on, the more likely that we're going to have some sort of collapse. That could totally change here in the next 4 years. That's why I'm so excited. Things can change finally. We can go back to how it's supposed to be, how things are supposed to be ran, and the survival of this country can go on. And I'm not saying it's going to happen in our lifetimes, you guys. It could. And maybe not even in our kids' lifetimes or grandkids' lifetimes. But it will happen at some point if we don't turn this around, man. And Donald Trump, based on everything he's going to do, that's why I'm so ecstatic, because it could finally happen. And it's stuff like this that needs to be fixed. The Biden-Harris Department of Homeland Security, the idiot, announced today that it would offer work permit extensions to newly arrived migrants, even as the vast majority of jobs have gone to immigrants for the past 5 years. The new rule from the Department of Homeland Security drastically increases the extension period for certain migrants' work permit renewals from up to 180 days to up to 540 days, you guys. Oh, year and a half, no big deal. And Democrats are for it until it's their job. That's the thing. What I have found watching a lot of these street interviews or just people's mannerisms, and we've seen it for a while, is people vote with their wallets. People vote with whatever impact's happening to them personally. So how Democrats run is, well, as long as it's not happening to my neighborhood, as long as it's not happening to my family and me, well, I'm good. And screw my fellow countrymen. It can happen to them all they want. F it. Well, that's exactly what's going on. That's their thinking. That is their thinking. And it is a crazy thinking. It's a very me society that we have in here in America, where you're sitting there and allowing somebody to take somebody else's job, your fellow countryman that actually has a right to that job more than anybody else does in the globe because it's their country and in their country. And they're going to sit there and vote for migrant rights over American rights. You want to know why? Because it's that Democrat's job that's not being taken by the migrant. It's the Republican, the conservative, right? The independent, the Green Party, hell, whoever it is. That's why they do it. I have a great example for all of you. The state of California, where I live. There's a reason why Democrats flee from the state of California. Well, it's only when their policies that they voted in and they're in favor for, meaning being lax on crime, no cash bail, all this theft that's taking place, the smash and grabs, the looting, the homeless crisis. I mean, the list literally goes on. The taxation that's going through the roof in this freaking state. Well, they vote for all this stuff. They allow it, right? They vote in the governor. They vote in they allow the legislature to be full Democrat, their locality to be full Democrat. So then when all this stuff happens, like you're seeing here, and they don't like it because now it starts personally affecting them because they actually woke up to like, oh my God, it's not just affecting the guy that I screwed over down the street. Now it's actually affecting me. I can't live here anymore. I got to go to a red area and tarnish that whole place. And then they vote for the same crap in your area. I'll tell you, and I've always said it, if you have a Republican coming from California, you should hug them with open arms because statistically they are more Republican and conservative than anybody else in the country. The Republicans here, you guys, are freaking hardcore. A lot of people think like, oh, Texas, right? Or hell, Idaho's very red, or Iowa. No. I don't think you guys know how hardcore Republicans are in Orange County in Southern California. These people are true. I'm not saying you're not patriots. I'm just saying if you see one of them, invite them over for dinner. Hell, buy him a cup of coffee because that's a fellow countryman right there. That guy will back you up. Hell, that guy might sit there and offer you or gal a coffee or something like that, take you out to eat. All right. If anyone wonders why real wages for working families have declined under the administration, look no further than the agency before us today. The report from the Center of Immigration Studies indicated that the vast majority of jobs have gone to foreign-born residents since 2019. Lovely. Oh, just great. And that comes from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Indicates that 971,000 more natural-born Americans were employed. Should have taken it off the screen. It's only going to piss me off, and I'm having a good morning. Unbelievable. Screw America. It's not a big deal. That's fine. You think we're done with? You think we're done with? The title of the show is Joe Biden gave billions to who again? Joe Biden sits there and allows what to happen again? Joe Biden does this or that. Joe Biden is sabotaging this country, and he's sabotaging Trump. Here's another one. You know what? Let's take a swig of coffee here together, because we're about to lose it. And I'm gonna do my best. And I've been good today. I don't even think I've cussed once, have I? Maybe once. We should do a cuss counter. Biden-Harris admin freed an illegal alien wanted for child rape in the United States. The Biden-Harris administration Department of Homeland Security freed an illegal alien who was wanted for child rape in his home country into the United States. Remember, there's thousands of these people. This is just one, right? There was a report that came out. They were talking about during the election, especially during the debates, not just from Joe Biden, but between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, but also Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. It got brought up. And J.D. Vance brought it up, going up against Tim Walz. I mean, the conservative outlets were talking about this, how there is like 13,000 plus murderers in this country illegally. That doesn't include even the rapists. There's a rapist, there's assault, and all these people should be convicted in their home country. I've always said this. You want to know how corrupt that this Biden administration is? Our own intelligence apparatus, a lot of you were talking about the CIA in the chat, I see it, is they know where some of the terrorists are, some of them, there's a lot of terrorists here in this country because this idiot right here and the former thumb, that idiot, DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, allowed this all to happen. They allowed terrorists in our country. It's unfathomable. It's unfathomable. They know where these people live. There was a CIA, basically terrorism unit agent, I guess we'll call her. She has silver blonde hair. She's on the Sean Ryan podcast, and she talked about how there's terrorists that are supposed to be tried for murder, or there's murders from their home country that are being let into our country. Our government knows who they are. She said that we know what cars they drive. Like, we know where they live. We're in communication with them. We're harboring terrorists in our own country. What? Not to mention we're giving the Taliban 87 million. Still, we're doing this. I've been saying this for like, what, a year now? That we're giving the Taliban $87 million every 2 weeks that killed American troops. This guy can't get out of office quicker. I mean that in all. Get out of office, Joe, please. I almost want him to be on vacation. I almost want you on vacation, Joe. Go on the beaches of Delaware. I don't want any comms, meaning communications around you, so you could screw this up. An Ecuadorian national, I'm not going to bother naming this guy's name, crossed the border of the United States on June 4th, 2021, before being apprehended by Border Patrol. He was given a notice to appear in front of an immigrations judge. Oh, I'm sure that he probably never showed up. Before being released into the interior of the United States. Just days after his release, however, the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, discovered the illegal alien was wanted in Ecuador in connection to the rape of a child. Wouldn't that be good to know before you let that guy enter in the country and basically have free reign over everybody else's children? Wouldn't that be a great idea, Joe? What an idiot. What a piece of work this guy is. Oh, Joe's going to be great. He's going to bring hope to the country. He's going to unify it. This is all the crap we were told for 4 years from these freaking whiners on social media that sat there and didn't want Donald Trump to win in 2016. Remember all these Hillary Clinton supporters that we had to hear complain and moan and cry for 4 years from 2016 to 2020? Trump's terrible. Look at this racist, this bigot. He's destroying the country. Right? When they had more money in their pocket back then. And then they came out of the woodworks. I saw them on social media during this last session. How could you vote for Donald Trump again? Because life was better, you idiot. Life was better for everybody, including the world, which is second in my mind because Americans are first. Like, you can't sit there and wake these people up. He's going to bring back. Like, they can't name anything that Joe did good. Other than maybe the CHIPS Act, which we don't even know the long-term effects of that. I'm still waiting to hear. Maybe that was a good thing. Well, it brought the cost of inhalers down. Wow, 4 years, inhalers, sick. Woo! Okay. Want me to list all the cons that we can go on for minutes for? You all seen the rants, and that was me cutting them off early. Gone on 6 minutes straight of me, just list of cons that Joe Biden's done that have destroyed everybody. He's going to bring back everything. He's going to cure it. They said the same thing about Kamala Harris, right? I'm going on a little bit of a rant here, but Kamala Harris is going to sit there and fix our debt. Her own campaign's in debt. She's begging people to pay for the debt off that she had. Even Donald Trump came out, I'll pay off the debt. Donald Trump offered to pay off her freaking campaign debt. It just shows you how terrible Democrats are, but it's so occult that they don't get it. And they call us a cult, which is the hilarious thing. So he's not believed to have committed any violent crimes during his brief time in the United States. Oh, well, he's not believed, but we're not sure. Gotcha. Lovely. That's exactly what you want to hear from your government with a known freaking child rapist in the country. Well, we're not we're not sure if he's done it. We don't think he's done anything. Is that good? I don't think he's done anything. We're not sure. What a lovely thing to hear from somebody. Can you imagine that? Just your own city council going, yeah, we let in a serial killer into your neighborhood. Well, where is he living? We don't know. Well, I thought you said you're going to track him when you let him in the neighborhood. Yeah, well, things are busy. Okay, well, do you think he's like killed anybody now? Well, we don't believe he has. That's how these people, and all you have to do, if you want to sit there and figure out things, all you need to do is just take it to an individual level. So anything government does, you could take most of that stuff and just apply it to your own personal life. And if you don't like the thing that would happen to you, then probably shouldn't do it at a government level. It's that easy. I'm not saying for everything, but for a lot of things. The easy one, right, is talking about the debt. If you don't have money in your personal life, probably shouldn't sit there and keep swiping the credit card. You don't have the money. You're just driving yourself deeper in debt. You're only hurting yourself. You're not accruing wealth. You're not advancing your family lineage. You're not forking your family tree if you keep doing that. Well, it's going to lead to some disastrous consequences at some point. And in the case in point for the federal government, it's going to be all of us owing $250,000 individually. Yeah, you heard that number correctly. It's actually more than that. You owe the federal government, based on our debt, you, every patriot in here, individually, and your husbands individually and your wives individually, every taxpayer owes about $250,000 to the federal government. I hope you're all aware of that. Thank you, politicians, you idiots. So this is the legacy that we get to leave for our kids, you guys. Yes, and this is the legacy that Joe Biden wants to leave with: funding terrorism, allowing child rapists in the country, allowing terrorists into the country, giving Ukrainians hundreds of billions of dollars of your money. It's not a big deal, whatever. Unbelievable. Well, we also have Tom Homan explains how Democrats protecting illegal aliens in sanctuary cities, states will fire back. So this guy ain't messing around, which I love. Finally, we got somebody freaking with balls of steel. And we need to resolve this whole thing that the Biden, Harris, and quite frankly, the Democrats created. And I'm not going to let them off the hook at all. Tom Homan, the border czar, said during an interview over the weekend that Democrats would seek to protect illegal aliens, which is astonishing to me, by noting cooperating with federal immigration authorities will actually end up having more illegal aliens deported in their communities. It's actually a really good point. Like, if you're going to sit there and not work with federal authorities, wouldn't that lead to federal authorities kind of honing in on your community or your city where you're working because you don't want to work with them, which implies there's a lot of them there that they're going to hyper focus, and they're going to go in. I mean, this guy sat there and he goes, look, if you don't want to sit there and follow the law, isn't it astonishing? We live in a time when the Biden Harris administration, Democrats are going, yeah, we're not going to follow the law. I mean, we've read quotes where they've actually said it. When election, the guy literally sat there and said, well, I don't care if we're breaking the law. We're going to do it anyways. And because we're doing it, maybe people are going to look into it. That came from a Democrat. I don't remember who it was, but I remember it was a Daily Wire article and we were talking about it. Yeah, no, they're just out in the open now saying, oh, we're not going to follow the law. We're just going to break it. So he said, I want to make something clear to exactly what we're going to do for all these sanctuary cities pushing back. San Diego, which is very close to me, San Diego's writing legislation. You have got Colorado and other states and other cities saying that they are going to prevent us from doing what I'm doing. I want to send them a clear message. God, I love it. I love it. After listening to a guy sit there and drool into a drip tray for 4 years, this is great. I haven't heard a clear message in a long time other than Trump himself. If you let us in the jail, we can arrest the bad guy in the jail. Wow. What an astonishing thing that is, right? To sit there and get rid of a guy that sat there and raped a kid. And Democrats, no, we need to help him. He's just here for our life. Please don't hurt him. That's Democrats thinking. It's insane. In the safety and security of the jail, one officer could do that. Could you imagine if you had a serial killer that's an illegal immigrant in a jail and or a prison, doesn't matter, and you're sitting there as an American citizen like that, sat there and I don't know, stole a piece of gum, and you got to be next to that guy. Yeesh. Well, but when you release the public safety threat back into the community, you put them at risk. If you notice, Tom Homan's not exactly speaking about rocket science here. It's just common sense. It's just the obvious. And for some reason, I don't know when this happened to you guys. Hand to God, I don't know. Maybe somebody can inform me. I don't know when somebody sat there and kicked Democrats in the head so hard that they can't sit there and rationalize this type of thing that's going on. I don't know what's going on with it. I think a lot of them woke up finally, which is why they voted for Donald Trump. But you put my officers at risk. You put the alien at risk. But here's what's going to happen. You're going to release that guy into the community. I'm going to send an entire team to look for that guy in your community. I just love the messaging. And it's clear. It's as clear as it could possibly be. And he's not messing around. And that's what we need. Finally, we got some clarity from people that want to do their damn job. This guy's coming out of retirement, folks, to sit there and bring America back. Finally, thank you. Here's the interview.
Your reaction to what you're hearing from Mayor Adams, wanting to meet with you now, a bit of a 360 there, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'm pleased. I'll be meeting with him Thursday, and I hope we can partner on making New York City a safer community. President Trump's been clear we're going to prioritize public safety threats and national security threats. So I'm not surprised that Mayor Adams coming to the table, because I think his number one responsibility is protection of his communities. I'm shocked that other mayors and other governors who want to put roadblocks up. I can't believe any elected official does not want to remove public safety threats from their communities. But we're going to do it with them or without them. We're going to get this done.
Tom, we just saw this report from the New York Post that said that 58,000 illegal criminals are running around in New York right now. And that they've already been convicted of crimes. Tell me about that group. Is that correct? 58,000 people who are gang members, many of whom belong to this gang, Tren de Aragua, who is incredibly dangerous in New York right now, and another hundreds of thousands of them throughout America?
Yeah, but the number's low. Like we only know what we have reports on, we have information on. Remember, a lot of these sanctuary cities, when they book a foreign national in their jail, many of these sanctuary cities don't even ask them their nationality in fear that ICE will get their hands on information. So you can guarantee there's at least 58,000 and more. And as far as Tren de Aragua, they're going to be a major priority of the Trump administration. President Trump has made that promise, and we'll be concentrating on them right out of the gate. Them, MS-13.
This is for New York City migrant crisis as of November, as of a month ago. Overall illegal immigrants, basically 760,000. I like losing my breath as I'm saying these numbers. Conviction/pending charges. Hold on a second. Hang with me. Hold on. I'm doing real-time math. Folks, that's 8%, 8% almost, if you were to round that, right? And these are just some of the numbers, which you could realistically say is 10% of these illegal immigrants in New York City are criminals. 1 in 10 illegal immigrant that you encounter is a criminal. That's insane. That is insane. But I just want to be clear, that's a lowball number, just a heads up, because we don't actually know their criminal record from their home country. Wow.
13 other criminal elements.
Tell me how you're going to do this, Tom. What's the plan? Are you expecting to use the military to round up these people? How will you get them out of the country?
You have to. Well,
look, first of all, I want to make something clear to exactly what we're going to do. For all these sanctuary cities pushing back, San Diego's writing legislation. You got Colorado and other states and other cities saying they're going to prevent us doing what I'm doing. I want to send them a clear message. If you let us in the jail, we can arrest the bad guy in the jail, in the safety and security of the jail. One officer could do that. But when you release a public safety threat back in the community, you put the community at risk, you put my officers at risk, you put the alien at risk. Because here's what's going to happen. You're going to release that guy in the community. I'm going to send an entire team to go look for the guy in your community. And what's going to happen? We'll find that guy. And when we find that guy, there's probably going to be others that are not a priority. However, if they're in the country illegally, they'll be arrested too, because we're not going to tell an immigration officer like this Biden administration did that you're going to turn your back on a known immigration illegal.
Damn right.
When you're an immigration officer, you have an oath to uphold. So you are forcing us into the community at large numbers where other non-priority aliens will be arrested. That's a result, the exact result you don't want. So let us into jail. It's safer for everybody, and it's the right thing to do to secure communities. What we're going to do, Murray, we're going to target, like I say, public safety threats and national security threats. We're going to send agents out on day one. We're already working on targeting. DOD, they've helped every administration. We would like DOD to help us in a lot of areas in transportation and infrastructure building, intelligence and targeting. But a sworn immigration officer with immigration authority will be making those arrests.
Yeah, I mean, you know what's...
Man, Thomas, dude, he's a badass dude. You don't mess with that guy one bit. So great job. Great pick by Trump. And look, I always leave some air for me being BS to my face. I'm not seeing any indication as of right now that I'm being BS to my face. And I think that this is a really great possibility of actually coming to fruition because the American people want this to happen as well. So I'm going to be fair. Is it going to look good having freaking agents showing up at people's door and removing them? No, it doesn't look good because that's not where our heart is at, because as Americans, we have empathy. But here's the thing. You shouldn't have been here in the first place. You're going to go back. You have family where you came from, and you got to figure it out there. Now, is it easy for me to say because I was blessed by our Lord to be born in this country and be an American? Absolutely. I'm not one to throw out like privilege and stuff like that, but hell, me living here is privilege. I got lucky. I won the freaking lottery. I don't need to go buy a lottery ticket, you guys. Just by dint of birth, I won the lottery by living here in this country. That's it. I did win the lottery. I did. Well, truthfully, I don't play lottery because it's not financially responsible, but also why? I won. I'm in the greatest country that's ever existed. What are the odds of that? The odds. And you got Democrats wanting to screw it up constantly. Now, what's even more crazy here is Donald Trump's been talking a lot about Canada, right? Canada's allowing immigration to happen, still not in any capacity that we're seeing from the southern border. But Canada is up next. I do want to give a shout out to Eric Birch. He did come in the chat. Eric Birch says, good morning, Patriot fam, with the $5. Thank you so much, sir. I want to make sure I acknowledge you. I didn't miss you. Just wanted to let the video play. Always greatly appreciate you coming in, man. It's always nice to see you. And it's nice to see everybody else too, really. The regulars, everybody in here, the Patriots, the Ball Brad Army. We are strong, man. Boy, are we strong. Things are going bonkers this morning. You guys are lighting up the chat, having a good time. Love to see it. Why don't we do this? A lot of you were talking about Trojan Horse and some gift ideas for some people. Well, let's go ahead and talk about this great gift idea, and that's Rumble Premium. So this sponsor is from Rumble, folks. They're taking good care of us, I'll tell you. They're taking great care of us. So one that is incredibly important to the survival of the company. They've been supporting me. I want to support them. They're supporting me through a sponsorship, and you can support them by giving your hard-earned money to Rumble Premium. So when Rumble first started in 2013, they built a platform for small creators like me. And what they did was they didn't censor or have biases. They were fair and treated everybody equally. No one thought the platform would censor political conversations or censor opinions on COVID, but other platforms did. Facebook literally admitted to it, and they fell to the pressure from the Biden-Harris administration. Mark Zuckerberg came out on Joe Rogan and actually acknowledged it. Rumble did not. Rumble held the line, folks. They actually are attacked for allowing me and other voices to talk to all of you. They are attacked in corporate media. They're attacked by governments like France. They are attacked from brand advertisers who refuse to work with them. Corporate America is fighting to remove free speech. Rumble, you guys, is fighting to try and keep it. Rumble won't survive with the brand advertisers. They won't and don't get much of it. Watching our show on Rumble is one of the most effective ways that you can sit there and support them. But if you have the means and believe in the fight, one major way you could do is to help Rumble survival is by joining Rumble Premium. Join the community that believes in the First Amendment and believes in human rights to free speech. Rumble is offering $10 off with a promo code STUDIO. $10 off, promo code STUDIO. Great Christmas gift. When you purchase an annual subscription, go to rumble.com/premium and use promo code STUDIO. Like I said, folks, if you have the means and you want to do a great gift for somebody for a good cause, now is the time to join Rumble Premium. If you don't have the means, just watching us over on Rumble is all they're asking for. And our numbers are better on Rumble than they are on YouTube, let me tell you. That's I didn't know that a strike, you guys, could hurt you that bad. I mean, talk about freaking throwing you in the brig. Man, yeah, we took that strike killed us on YouTube. Bad. I can't imagine what two strikes looks like. I mean, 3 strikes, you're permanent banned. 2 strikes, dude. We'll see. We have to wait till February to even see if we could recover. I don't even know. Doesn't matter. We're going to be doing the show nonetheless. We ain't giving up, baby. We ain't giving up. So right here, you got Canadian intelligence admits illegal immigration into the U.S. surged since 2022. The Democrats are like, oh, Trump's lying. What does Canada have to do with all this? Well, this right here. So according to Canada's Border Service Agency, the number of illegal immigrant crossings southward in the United States has surged since basically Joe Biden's taken office. The agency sent its intelligence document to senior immigration, refugee, and Citizenship Canada officials. Here we go. This is the quote I wanted. The vast majority were very likely in Canada for less than 6 months. of which a large portion were in Canada for less than 3 weeks. They just came here. President-elect Donald Trump warned the Canadian government that he would impose 25% tariff on its products until the country acted to curb illegal crossing in the United States. I just want to say something here. You keep hearing people say this, and it is true. I want to be clear. It is true. And Justin Trudeau was on camera just yesterday, because I watched the clip, saying, basically almost acting like he's a tough guy. Oh, well, you know, the American people, hey, they want to pay more for their product than impose the tariffs. What he doesn't realize is if we actually band together, if we can actually work as a country, then we could sit there and just not buy the Canadian products. That's simple. That's simple. If Donald Trump said to the Patriots and goes, I don't want anybody buying these products. Cool, I ain't buying them. That's fine. If we're trying to teach somebody a lesson to not mess with the United States, if we keep buying their products, well, then what kind of lesson are we really showing them? If we're being affected by some other country's crap by allowing them to pour in illegal immigrants here, well, I'm not going to sit there and support them. By the way, cut off all funding to the government then. Don't give Canada systems. Don't sit there giving them defense. Don't give them anything. At that point, cut them off. And what's funny is they go, well, American people are going to pay more for our products. Not if we don't buy them. I'll be saving money. So the money, let's just say something was $100. Just say $100. And traditionally I would buy that. So I'm out $100, correct? Donald Trump imposes a 25% tariff. Now it's $125. Well, guess what? I'm not going to buy it now. So not only am I not buying your product, which screws over your country and the corporations that are there because they're trying to make money on the backs of Americans, I just saved $100 and technically $125. And guess what? I can go do something else with that money. I can go buy a product from a country that actually sits there and wants to kiss the feet of the United States. That's where I could spend the money. I could go sit there and maybe invest that money somewhere else. That's what I could do. But that's what we'd have to do is these 25% tariffs or 100%, wherever he's going to do it. Does it affect you guys? Yes. I want to be clear. Tariffs generally are not a good thing. And I'm not going to sit there and lie to your face that if Donald Trump imposes the tariffs, that it's going to be a good thing for you. Generally, it's not. I hate to tell you, it's not. If it's done the right way, it could be a great negotiating tactic. If it's done in the right way, where Donald Trump really wants to have a voice and says, hey, you know what? I'm imposing a 25% tariff on all Canadian goods that are coming across that border, which have to be purchased by said whoever's buying that product and then selling it off to you at a 25% increase because they got to sit there and make up for that 25% tariff that's being paid when it comes in. Then you say, hey, you know what? Here's all the companies, all the products that are coming that I'm putting a 25% tariff on. Don't buy them because they're more expensive. And if he really wanted to do a service to all of us, he would have his team sit there and go ahead and buy these products. Just as good. Sponsor American companies. Look, if you're going to give me a 25% tariff, and maybe there was a 25, let's say this. America right now, somebody's selling a can of beans for $125. I can get a can of beans for $100 from Canada. I'm going to buy the $100 because it's cheaper. 25% tariff, now 125. Guess what? I'm not buying the Canadian product anymore. Now I'm buying the American product because not only is it the same amount of money, but also I could support Americans at the end of the day. Now, we should be supporting Americans regardless, but it was a simple example of what could be done here to limit the impact of these tariffs that are going to take place if people don't get their ish together. I just want to give a shout out here to Stephen Miller really quick. Trump to deliver most important significant domestic policy win in 50 plus years. So John Thune and Lindsey Graham have promised that they could get a full funding package for the border. Thank you. Now, I'm going to reserve that because something could happen here where we don't get it. But the most significant border security investment in American history, which would be the biggest domestic policy win in the last 50 years. Please. He said that there will be a massive increase in ICE officers, which you would have to have if you're going to sit there and do this type of deportation. Working on, there you go, mass deportations. The administration has planned, in addition to a historic increase in border agents, which we need, and funding for all the barriers and technology. Notice the key word, barriers and technology that you would need to ensure there's never another Godaway entering into this country. Thank you. I don't care how much it is. I don't care. And you're talking about a fiscal conservative here. There's things, and I always say this, take it to a personal level. I'm stingy. I follow Dave Ramsey. I buy cheap stuff, but I also buy stuff that's going to last a long time. Like I'm smart with my money is what I'm saying. And what there's certain things that you just have to splurge on. Insurance, health insurance, car insurance. Like when people give financial advice, you got to splurge on those things. There's things that are important. This is important. You securing your border is important. You have to splurge on that. Spend the money. The reason why you're going to save the money in the long run. It's costing you more money not to secure it than it is to actually secure it. So it makes financial sense to actually secure it. And then it also makes a moral issue of people's lives being put at risk. And it's also the government's job to sit there and protect you. Hence why you're giving all this money to your government so they can protect you. Like there's a lot of things that unravel on it, but at an individual level, it still plays into what's going on here. I wanted to touch on this really quick because I really want to know what you guys think. So I want to know in the chat when I go into this, are these UFOs? Are they foreign government? Are they the Chinese? Like, what are these drones flying over New Jersey? I want to know what you guys think. I'm actually going to go a little bit longer here because I want to touch on this. I've been holding this off for freaking ever. And you guys know me, I'm into conspiracy theories. I don't believe in them, but I love the adventure of them and like the possibilities. I think it's fun. I think it's unique. I think it's interesting. So authorities talking and taking mysterious, well, they are talking. Authorities are taking mysterious UFO sightings in New Jersey. Deadly serious, governor says. They're not taking it serious though. So so if you're not aware, there are like tons of drones flying over like Donald Trump's golf courses, military installations in New Jersey. I mean, this is not a good thing. And it's being played down. People are thinking it's a foreign government. I don't know what's going on. These aren't small little drones, you guys, like the size of a baseball. These things are the size of planes, man. So you have Governor Phil Murphy has spoken with White House officials about the very sophisticated drones over New Jersey. The minute you get eyes on them, they go dark. This is something we're taking dangerously seriously. But here's the thing. They also... listen to it.
Drones in New Jersey, in Morris County. I don't know how many mayors sent a letter to you this morning asking for a clarification. What can you tell?
What a look, right? Just nothing more masculine than taking an interview question while freaking chapping your freaking lips.
Mayors sent a letter to you this morning asking for a clarification. What can you tell us? What is going on, and why is it taking so long to come up with an explanation?
Yeah, it's a good, I don't blame people for being frustrated. Let me say, most importantly, right up front, we see no evidence, and I say we, this includes Homeland Security, FBI, Secret Service, our state police, authorities at all levels of government. The most important point to say is we don't see any concern for public safety. That's number one. Number two, having said that, it's really frustrating. That we don't have more answers as to where they're coming from and why they're doing what they're doing. We had last night 49 sightings. I think 20 of them were over Hunterdon. Now those include, I think I saw one mistaken a fixed wing aircraft.
All right, so they're seeing these drones fly over, and you guys bring up great points. Again, I'm not saying they are UFOs, but Pop Smoke brings up, why would they have lights? Why would UFOs have lights? I mean, I agree. So Congress is sounding this off. Some are taking it serious, but we'll get into it. I got a few articles here, so I want to cover it here. Patriots is big news. Oh, I don't like the fact that they're over Trump's golf course. They have a no-fly zone now. They're not actually even allowed to go near Trump's golf course in New Jersey. I forgot the name of it, or in that surrounding area. Those things need to be taken down. Hellfire missile, those things. Tomahawk missile. Congress sounds off on unknown drones flying over New Jersey and New York here. You got members of Congress are speaking out of the unknown drones that have been spotted by residents zipping around the skies of New Jersey. Now, to be quite frank, because it's so dense, you can't exactly shoot these things down because it's going to sit there and, go into somebody's home and it's freaking the size of a plane. These sightings have prompted investigations, Federal Aviation Administration flight restrictions, and demands for more transparency about what is happening. So Fox News senior congressional correspondent Chad Pegram posted on X. It seems as though members from both sides are not getting answers about these drones or whatever they are seeing in the New Jersey and Staten Island. Isn't it kind of scary that we're in our home territory and our own intelligence apparatus doesn't know what these are, or they're playing it, or they do, and they're playing it off that they don't? I think we know what these are, or we're in big trouble here. There's a hearing focusing on this today. What is the level of concern? Do you think the government is being straight and members can't even get answers on this? So Johnson said, we're working on it. We need straight answers, of course. We are concerned about drones and all these new technologies and what it might mean for national security and the safety of the American citizen. I'm looking forward to the outcome of that hearing. And if we don't get the necessary answers there, we dig deeper and go into classified level. I also want to point out, you guys, that nobody talks about this. There's certain, I don't know how I want to phrase this. There's certain red tape around drones here in the United States where basically China has a stronghold on that whole market. All these drones you're seeing are predominantly from China. Now, China has a huge kind of action, I guess we could say, of flying things over the United States all the time. And I think this could potentially be the Chinese sitting there gathering intelligence or whatever, scanning our landscape, scanning our installations, and doing all these things. You have FBI here, are clueless about mystery drones flying over New Jersey. Of course they are. I mean, hell, we don't even have anything about the Donald Trump assassination yet. We still don't even have the Jeffrey Epstein list. These guys have their heads so far up there, you know what? It's mind blowing. Their head is so far gone. It's so far up there, and it's been there for so long that they don't even remember what daylight looks like. And that's why I can't wait till Kash Patel gets sworn in as the FBI director, because this whole thing needs revamping. The FBI testified to Congress on Tuesday that the Bureau is completely just flabbergasted, basically, by suspected drones flying over New Jersey that have yet to be identified. This has been going on for weeks, you guys, for weeks, causing a stir among residents and prompting officials to demand answers. How do we not know? We know. I think we know. I think something's going on here. Something nefarious is going on, and we don't know what it is. And it's bothering, meaning we American people, and we're not getting any answers from our own government. Why is it we never get answers from anybody anymore? When we don't get answers, somebody's job should be on the line, because then they'll start giving answers really quick. Like when you sit there and say, look, if you're not going to sit there and find out for us in this time frame, and we don't get clear answers, I understand sometimes you don't know what it is. I want full documentation, or else not only do you lose your job, you lose your pension. I'm tired of this crap of stonewalling, not giving us answers, and knowing that you're going to sit there and collect the pension off the backs of all of us, of which all of us are asking you to sit there and do your damn job and give us answers. And you're going to tell us with all the technology, the strongest country that's ever existed in human existence, that you don't know what this is. You can't sit there and just shoot one down somewhere and analyze it. You can't track it. Folks, they don't stay up there forever. They have to come down and land at some point. You can't track a few of these. You can't get the freaking military out there and just watch it and go, hey, okay, let's just watch where this one's going. For all we know, it's some dude in his basement with his freaking controller in one hand and his freaking hand in his pants, flying this thing around, spying on people. So they don't know what the hell's going on. They don't have a damn clue. Or they do, and they're not telling us. So wanted to get into that. Like down south, was it Peru, who witnessed a mass amount of UFOs? Look, I don't think they're aliens here. I mean, I think there's a UFO sightings for sure. I mean, the own government has said that, pilots that have retired. But wanted to make sure we covered that story. That one was really important to me. And a lot of the patriots are kind of scattered over all of it. It's not really kind of a common theme here. So appreciate everybody that supports the show. Thank you so much. Again, the Christmas is coming up. Trojan Horse, How the Left is Destroying America, my book, is on Amazon. It'd be great if you guys purchase that for a friend. I could show you it right here. This is what it looks like. Kindle's really cheap right now, but this is what it looks like right here. That's my book. That's my name. And $8.99. $8.99 on Kindle. And everything else is on sale right now. So I would grab it up if you can. There's only so many copies left too for like hardcover and paperback. Like how many paperback do we have? Well, we got 16 left in stock. So those might go quick. And then hardcover is only like 6. There's 5. So people are buying it. There's only 5 left in stock here. So grab those up. Great Christmas gift. Look at arrives before Christmas. They can guarantee it. With that being said, thank you so much for everybody that joins the show. Thank you for all the members. Really, thank you for giving your hard-earned money back to this channel and the community. It does go 100% of it goes actually back into the show. I don't pocket any of the money that comes into the show, just a heads up. So thank you so much. It really does get put to good use. I greatly appreciate you. And folks, I'll see you tomorrow here on the Bull Bragg Show. Take care, Patriots.